Well, hello everybody. It is 6:30 on Tuesday, which means it's time for another episode of Tiger Stamp Club Live, where we make great cards. And I have a brand new bundle that's just available, just like what is today? Today's the 7th, so maybe like 6 days ago. It is a Christmas bundle. Can you believe Christmas in July? And it is so much fun. I could not resist making a card with it. I've been seeing such cute cards made with this bundle. And I said, my people need to know how to do this. So, before I go too much further, I just want to make sure that I'm showing up in Facebook. And I see that Diana is here on Facebook. Leah's here on Facebook. Liz is here on Facebook. Susan just popped up on Facebook. Hi, guys. And let's see if I can see the chat on YouTube. So on YouTube, I see that Susan is also on YouTube. Liz is also on YouTube. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl, how are you? Hey, Nancy. Thanks for sharing, Nancy. All right, I think we must be on both places. Stampin' Up's news. Let me change the camera. Let me change this camera to back just while we talk about Stampin' Up! News. So the last chance products have been refreshed, so make sure you check those out. Sometimes there are some really good deals that are to be had. Um, Paper Pumpkin, you have until July 10th, which is Friday. You have until Friday to order, pick up that kit. It is a really, really cute kit. Easel-based cards, so fun folds. There are going to be nine, each of three different designs that you can do there. And I'm so tempted to do it this month. I should do it, right? And then the product of the month is now available while supplies last. It's called Begonia Bell Stamps, and it's $5 with a $75 order. Now, uh, the next announcement is just hot off the press, um, and we were told to not tell anybody, uh, non-demonstrators about this. But Stampin' Up is, hold on, let me see if I can, there we go. Stampin' Up is getting their own hot foiling system. And I have it in my hands. I just have not had time to play with it, but I am going to play with it this weekend. Uh, I've seen some amazing cards made with the hot foil system. Now, some of you may already be familiar with the hot foil system. I am not. I never got into that, but I guess I am going to now. Uh, and this is supposedly the latest, greatest, most up to date, most featured hot foiling system there is. I might be selling it too much, but that's what they told us. It's the latest, greatest. Um, and um, and I was going to also say that if you purchase the hot foil system before January 4th, then they're going to include a hot foil craft class with your purchase, which is a $30 value. Now, I don't know if you can see these cards, but I mean, gold foil, we have gold foil right now. We have gold, silver, and pink foil. We've got butterfly foiling dies. We've got floral foiling dies, polka dots, um, all sorts of things that I'm going to start getting into. and it goes live to customers again on Friday at midnight. Now, I they told us that they expect it to sell out their this first round, and they say it might be uh, 2 or 3 months before they get another round of foiling systems in. So if this floats your boat at all, um, if this floats your boat at all, then um, I would get it. Now, this is signed. You do have to have Stampin' Up's cut and die, cut and emboss machine, because after you do the heat your die up and add the foil, you have to run it through the cut and emboss machine to adhere it. And so that's also a consideration. Yeah. Let's take a look at this. Uh, okay, hold on. Look at this beautiful quilted stitched stocking card that we're going to make. It's got all these different pieces that fit together, and it really does make it look like a quilt top, like this stocking is made out of quilted material. It is just really a great new bundle. And I wanted to bring this to you. Now, I'm going to do something just a little bit different with our card that I'm making today, but um, it's going to be almost exactly. All right, I'm going to set this right here. I'm going to first bring over my insert mat and get my stamping out of the way. And I'm going to stamp in real red, and my sentiment says, sending wishes this Christmas. And I'm going to ink this up in red, real red ink. But before I do that, I'm going to ink it up in Versamark. First of all, that helps the ink or the stamp grab onto the ink. And since we're using red, red stains our photopolymer stamps. There's just no getting around it. Eventually, it's going to stain. But this helps it not stain as badly if you ink it up in Versamark first. And then I've got some on my block, so I'm going to make sure I don't rock my stamp as I go here. Yay, very good. And I'm going to cut this off to the side. I'm going to bring over my old olive card base, um, which is our standard card base. So it is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored on the side 4.25. And I'm going to get crease and bring up my balloon folder and burnish this really well. And then I am going to adhere this to the inside of the card. Sending warm wishes this Christmas, and that is just a perfect sentiment to go with this quilted stocking that we're going to create. There we go. And we're all good on the inside now. Now, let me grab my pieces. I've got all my pieces in my little box over here, except for my panel pieces, which happen to be right here. So I've got Secret C panel here that is 3 by 5.5. And then I've got this piece of DSP that is, and so I am going to ink this up, not ink it up, I'm going to add adhesive to it, and I'm just going to try and get it so that there's a nice even border on each side here. I saw a question that said, what color is the dark green cardstock, the color of our card base? And it is Old Olive. And I picked these colors because those are the coordinating colors that go with the DSP.
We haven't done a whole lot just yet. We've stamped our inside sentiment in real red, and then we've adhered our front panels here on the front of our card. All right. All right. I am going to go ahead and get started because I do need to move it kind of along here. I'm going to start pulling over. Well, hold on. While people are hopping back on, let me just show you the Stitch stocking bundle here. Here is the stamp set. It is a photopolymer stamp set, 13 photopolymer stamps. And you've got these squares here if you want to build your own quilt with it. You've got these different patterns. You've got a solid pattern. You've got some triangles here. And then you've got some Christmas sentiments. And then if you want to make a tag for a gift, you've got this to and from, which is also very handy to have. So 13 stamps, and then you have this amazing set of dies. So you've got this big outline stocking, and then you've got this die right here that's going to help you create your quilt. And then you've got some holly leaves, some holly berries, some square dies that have different ways to make a pattern with those. You've got this shape here, which if I was a quilter, I would know what that is. Got a couple of different sentiment strips here, some more quilting, bigger squares, and then some decorative dies here, and some more holly leaves. So this is called the Stitch Stocking Bundle. That's what we're mostly using tonight. Let's get back to it. Oh, there's not a crackling noise now. Good. The click is gone. I've got to figure out what the click is. What the click? What the click? All right. Now, the only thing when you're making this quilted stocking, first of all, you need the big one, all right, for your background, all right? And I cut this out of real red. And then you need to cut out the detailed one, which is just a little bit smaller, and that's what all our layers are going to be about. Out of 4 different patterns, I mean, if you want the total quilting experience. Now, I have seen some cards where they just did one and like layered it on like this. You know, still cute, just not as detailed. All right. So tonight I have cut this same die out of 4 different patterns. And then I've also cut it out of 4 different colors of cardstock. And this real red one is going to be our building layer. So it's going to be a lot easier to piece our pieces. I don't know if you can see all the stitching and the outline here on this piece, but it's easier to use one of these and build on it, and that makes all our pieces go together nicely. All right. So just so you know, you need your the big one, and then 4 of the smaller ones in different patterns, and then 4 different cardstock layers. If you want to do it like I did, all right? So I said again, this is going to be our building piece. You also need scissors because all these pieces are notched. So you have to kind of just very carefully, or not carefully, but I mean, you have to just, there's a little notch that's not cut, and you just have to kind of cut them apart. So I am going to click it right there. Did you hear that? And then I need to click it right here. And it is kind of, you know, it's kind of fussy, but you saw how pretty that is. And then I just pulled that inside piece apart. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, I forgot to check my adhesive here. Hopefully it won't give me a problem. Oh, good. I don't want a whole lot. So this is going to be part of the toe. And it's going to fit in right here. So you see why we need this building piece? It just makes it super easy to put together. All right. So there is our first piece of our stocking. And now I am going to get one of the pattern pieces. Again, I just have to snip it apart. It is mostly apart, but just a little bit there and just a little bit there. A little snip will do us. And then I very carefully just kind of pull it out of the corner because I'm not very good at snipping that corner. And then I'm going to add some adhesive there. And we're going to continue building here. All right, you see how this is working? Hey, Linda, glad you're watching. You see how that's working? And then just piece by piece, we begin building our quilted stocking. Now, if I was just making one card, I would have a lot of pieces left over. And so what I discovered is when I played with it this weekend, or this past weekend, when you cut it out 4 different ways like I just showed you, then you have enough pieces to make 4 different stitch stockings if you mix and match where all the pieces go. And I also discovered that it really doesn't matter. It's pretty foolproof. Like, you don't have to really pay that much attention where all these patterns are going. Just put them on and it'll be good. You know what I mean? I made, and I'll show you here in just a minute after we get ours together. I made one, and I was kind of going by the little example that Stampin' Up has with this set when you go online to look at it. I was going kind of by the way they did it. And then I had all these leftover pieces, and I said, well, let's see how many more I can get out of here. And it didn't matter how I put them together. it all looked good. Let's see if there we go. Excuse me. So I'm just going through and finding the pieces that I want for my quilt. Hey Linda, you quilt, don't you? How many people watching actually make quilts? I've always wanted to learn how to do that because I think quilts are beautiful. Diana, I don't know if you hop back on, but I know your son is a master quilter. I've seen some of his stuff and it's just amazing. So this is kind of like a puzzle. And we're just fitting them together where they go on this base layer here. Now this is cherry cobbler. Did I tell you the colors? Cherry cobbler, old olive, and secret sea are the cardstock colors, and then 4 different patterns of from the DSP set. Oh, Janice, you've made one, huh? Oh, you've made a quilt. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but I know it's quite an involved process. All right, I like this pattern, so that's why I make this big piece here out of this candy cane pattern. So this top piece has this star that's inside of it. So I'm just going to, as best I can, pull out this star. And then we're going to use the base. Almost had it. And then that's going to go right here. Okay, you see how that's working? And then for this part, I'm going to find a star that I like. So I think I want it to be green, so I'm going to use this one. So now I'm going to pull the star out. Of this pattern paper. And like I said, it really, I love how it looks good no matter what patterns you use. All right, and instead of just having to worry about taking this big square out and having all these little pieces, I'm just leaving this star into one piece and then we'll layer on top of it. All right, so I'm going to add some adhesive here. What happened here? Did I move this? Give me a second. All of a sudden I looked down and this piece was out of place. I had to breathe on it to get it unstuck there. There we go, that's better. Now let's add some adhesive here. And then this is going to go, I don't think there's a direction, but if there was a direction, you'd want to make sure that it is right side up. And I'm just fitting this all in here. Let me make sure I can. Finagle everything into place. Let me get my, let me see, where is it? I take your pick tool just to move these into place where I want them to be. Don't move them out of place, Manny. Here we go. I almost feel like I am quilting. Except cutting out these little shapes is so much easier. All right, now I want the blue square. So I'm going to pull apart this blue square. There you go. May need to trim just a little bit of that off. Nancy, you probably made a quilt, right? All right, this is gonna go here. And then I'm looking here to see if I have, oh yeah. I forgot, I'm going to cut a little square, and I think it is, I really think it's, well, I should look out of one of these other ones. Oh, I've got a little, sorry, I've got a little ruler here. Let me measure this. Half an inch. So I'm just gonna cut with my trimmer 1/2 inch square to put on top here. I should have already had that done, but I do not. So I'm gonna step over here to my trimmer off camera and cut that real quick. And then this is going to go on here, and this is cherry cobbler. So, you know, I'm just making sure that I have different colors next to each other. It's gonna go there. See how, look at that. Isn't that, I love the way it looks when you've got all the pieces in place. I mean, it really looks quilted. All right, now it's gonna layer on this piece. So let's add some adhesive on the back. And I'm using liquid. Oh, I moved it too much. Just so I can move it around a bit before it's all the way stuck down. There we go. And then I said I was going to do something a little different. On this one, I did a green top here and then used some of the real red stitched ribbon that's part of this whole collection. But I'm going to do something a little bit different on this one. And then whoever wins tonight's card can tell me if they want the one with the ribbon or do they want the other one. So this one is going to go. And I've already stamped the sentiment in real red on basic white. And I'm just going to make sure it's nice and in place. Look how cool that looks. I mean, and then I have all these other pieces. I can get 4 more of these with stuff that I've already cut. All right, I'm just going to scoot this out of the way, though, for right now. Because, oh, I was going to tell you about that, too. So here, the Stampin' Up's example card that's with this, like if you go online, you know, and you look for this bundle, they always have example cards with their bundles and other things, so you can have ideas of what to do. I basically copied that. That's where I got this white idea for this white star right here, or whatever this is. Looks like a snowflake. So I needed a piece of white when I was working this weekend. And so I looked to my left, and let's see, do I still have those? Oh, yeah. You know how you cut out pieces and you don't use them all, or like in this instance, some of them didn't cut out evenly and they had a little extra part there. Well, all I was looking for was something that was white, you know, and I said, well, I'll just cut out the star from there. And I cut it out of this stitched circle, right? And then I thought, when I was making mine, look how good that looks, just slipped behind there as just another added detail. So that's what I did on my example card, and I'm going to do that here as well. So that's, and you know, that's using, you know, using up the stuff that I have. But so this was just a little extra piece that I had sitting off to the side saying, oh, I'll use that on something, right? And then usually I never do, right? It just sits there forever. But in this case, it was there and I used it, and I'm so glad it was there. But here is another one of those dies that are in the set to make a little holly. And so that's what I'm want to do on this. So first of all, I'm going to do the leaves, and I like that the holly leaves are stitched. Come on. Don't fail me now, glue. Come on, come on, come on. All right, I've got another one right here. Let's see if it works. Yay. So this is gonna come off. Oops. Let's make sure. going to come off here. Okay, just put it at the end, Manny. And this is going to come off here. And then we've got our little holly berries. Now my finger's getting sticky. There we go. I like that little detail right there up in the corner there. All right. Now we can put this on our card front. And I'm just making sure that it doesn't stick too far up there so it'll still fit in our envelope. And I am going to pop this up, but I do need to place this flat behind it. So I'm just going to get an idea of where I want this to go. And like I saw that Janice said, it makes this negative space here really pop by just adding this little detail here. At least I thought so. You can see the holly berries through that negative space there. And then we're going to pop this up. Oh, already did that one. All right, now this is going to come here. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And then we have these little mini Christmas buttons. And it's in real red and white. And I like the white because the white seems to pop. And so I'm going to take one of those. And pop it right there. And in no time at all, we have put together a cozy and warm quilted Christmas stocking, Christmas card to send to somebody we love during the holidays. And I just think this is super special. And I like using all the stuff. And now I have pieces that I can switch and swap and make 4 more cards. So let me show you the other 3 that are not on this card. So look at that one. Just switched and the different pieces, put them in different places, different patterns. And they all look awesome. So it really doesn't matter. And I just haven't got these on cards yet, but I do love that little holly piece there in the corner. So tell me what you guys like better. Do you like the stitched ribbon at the top? Or do you like the Merry and the Merry Christmas down here? Or do you like the Merry Christmas? I really like that. Although I think that ribbon is cool. So there you have it, friends. Sorry that the glitches made it extra challenging for you guys tonight. Thank you for sticking with me, the 8 of you that that have stuck with me. So odds are very good that you're going to win a card. Hey, Jen. Hey, Susan. Hey, Anita. Let me just see who all. Hey, Carol. Happy birthday. I haven't seen you since your birthday. Let's see. Oh, stitching around the edges with a pin. I wonder if I'd be very good at that. I do have the new white gel pens that Stampin' Up! Has. So let me try it on one of these that I have not adhered to a card yet. I just love that idea. Let's see. Okay. Just making sure that this is going. So I wonder if I can achieve that. Only problem is I can't talk. Can't talk while I'm doing this. Look at that. What a great idea, Carol. I'm glad I looked up and saw your suggestion. What do you guys think of that? Adding that white ink there. Do you guys like that? I happen to think that is a super cool detail to add. And we've got these white gel pens are new. I mean, we've had them before, but I think this is a new style. Something about them's new. They're supposed to work better. You know, you know how they all say. But I think I do love the way. So I'm going to finish that up, and I'll post a picture of that when I'm done. But that is tonight's card. One of you very luckily will win the card. And when you do, tell me whether you want the one with the holly berry at the top, or do you want the one with the ribbon at the top? You get your choice. Thanks for being here, guys. Hey, Jen. Thanks for hanging through the glitchy. I got to figure this out because we can't have glitches all the time. And little scratchy noises or whatever you guys said was happening. Thanks for being here. I'll catch you next time for another great card. I do have to go pick up my wife, so it will be tomorrow before I do the drawing. So you have plenty of times, if you haven't already made a comment, to make a comment. All right? And share and get your name into the drawing. Again, thanks for being here. I hope you like this new stitched stocking bundle as much as I do. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.